Hi everybody, I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where I am futzing with my webcam, and I hate this webcam so much. I really do. uh, the software is very problematic. The image, it always defaults back to something that makes it very laggy, and I don't know, just not a fan. So I'm going to start. If you have any recommendations for webcams that work on a Mac, and I'm not happy with the webcam that I have in my Mac, which is why I have a second webcam. So if you have any recommendations, please put them in the comments. But thanks for joining us. Today, on the film scanner, we have a film about masks. Enjoy. Wait, I need to change the actual thing. Hold on, one second. Type. Have to spell it right. All right, here we go. Enjoy.
Healing ritual filled the air. Weird tones accompanied monotonous beats of rattles, and masks moved out of the haze to look, to pause, to chant the magic healing words, and to retreat. Masked spirits and gods knew the mysteries of life, and from their mouths came forth breath to blow life-restoring ashes over the suffering. Of manhood, and of many forms, the power. The wolf, whose cunning mind often outwitted the Indian braves. Pale moon that numbered the days, silvered the seas at night. The black-coated seal, coveted prize of the sea hunter. The wise old owl. The intricate carvings of an Indian chief's headdress told stories. Stories of battles, of fierce fights, of victorious warriors. An animal mask suddenly opened to reveal the spirit of the man inside. The wind howled in his anger, and the wise respected his great strength and his strange echoes. The black raven liked chattering, be it in wisdom or in folly. The loathsome cannibal bird watched and waited for the unwary. King of the air, the thunderbird shot deadly arrows in his fury. Eskimo masks, in their spirit of fun and gaiety, brightened the long and dreary wintry days of the far north. The spirit of the man rested in the animal, as all life is one and integrated in the lonely, barren Arctic. masked gods of Africa also had the mystical power over the living and the dead. Funeral masks accompanied the dead beyond the grave. The ever-present spirits of the ancestors guarded the destiny of the tribe and maintained strength and prosperity from generation to generation. Solemn and serene, a Congo mask looked on as an old chief died. Masks witnessed the physical deeds of pain during the ceremony of manhood, while the shrill cries of the god echoed through the forests. The deep scars on some masks were left by Agusu, the royal panther, whose claw marks signified high rank and power. Nigerian masks were part of the primitive tribal dances, the mating dance, the harvest dance, or the celebration of a successful hunt. The early Toltecs of ancient Mexico dressed their dead of jade and onyx, 9 trials by the 9 judges before reaching the final shadows and the Lord of the Dead. Ancient Greek masks revealed deep human passions, a satyr with a knowing look, a comic full of vitality. The grieving features of a tragic mask spoke about unalterable, merciless fate befallen to mortal man. Masks worn today, when performing ancient Greek tragedies, emphasize the grief and affliction of ill-fated Oedipus, or the sightless seer Thrasias, or scheming, ambitious Creon, or the unfortunate queen, Jocasta. And when the play was over, as in life, the masks, their work done, fade from the scene. The strange fascination of the evil appears as beauty in a modern mask, or dark and sinister as the devil himself. A sad Negro remembers the fate of his ancestors, while a smooth, modern mask with wide open eyes looks into the future. Today, the spirits have disappeared. The mountains, the lakes, and the forests, their favorite dwelling places, are now deserted. All that remain now are the legends and the masks.
film was scratched to hell. So those green emulsion lines, I'll show you real quick. We'll go back to it. That is dirt or something else that is just scratching into the emulsion. The emulsion is the kind of gelatinous thing that's on top of the base of the film. The base of the film is clear acetate. Then on top of it is this layer of emulsion, which has the photographic material and has the graphic information in it. And when something scratches, it is scratching all the way through to the green layer, which is, I think, on the bottom. But if it's a super scratch, it's white. But you see similar scratches when we show black and white, where it's white. Or it's black. And sometimes, even with color, if there's a black scratch, that is actually a shadow of a scratch that's on the acetate. So the light hits the acetate and it makes a little shadow. And so that's your vocabulary of scratches right there. Fascinating film, but oh my God, like somebody showed that a bunch of times and really didn't take care of it. And what's weird is it got worse. Like it was okay for a while and then suddenly it got really bad, which tells me that maybe the beginning was from another film that they added on and then it continued to get scratched. But somebody liked showing this film, but not enough to actually learn how to show the film without damaging it. It reminds me, there was this, I went to this film conference, the Orphans Film Symposium, and it was at Culpeper, Virginia, at the Library of Congress AV Center. And they showed this, Mexican archivist showed this film that supposedly was shown all the time in this little village in Mexico. It was a narrative feature film. It was on 16, and they just kept showing it over and over again. And it was just green. It was all green scratches. Like you could see images in between, but it was like you were in a bamboo prison. And it was sad to see it like that, but it was also to see that this film was super popular and people showed it all the time. So there's something about that. All right, so yesterday I thought I was going to show you our wonderful ears and their care, but I ended up showing our wonderful eyes and their care. Well, here's your wonderful ears. Listen.
Every morning, as Dick gets ready for school, he thinks about the things he's going to be doing in class. Today, he's thinking about his ears, because he's going to have them tested at school. What would it be like if he couldn't hear? Now, Dick can hardly hear his radio. But when he uncovers his ears, he hears it once again. Dick is enjoying the music. Music is only one of the many sounds he hears.
Breakfast is ready, Dick.
There's another familiar sound, his mother's voice.
Dick? I'm coming, Mom.
Dick enjoys hearing the canary. And the whistling of the tea kettle. Dick realizes that he hears many things. There's something else Dick hears. That must be Jimmy. Dick and Jimmy are going to walk to school together. On their way to school, Dick and Jimmy hear more sounds. That's Mr. Potter's dog. Now, they hear the sound of a jet plane. Here's a sound which helps keep them safe. Yes, Dick and his friends, and we too, hear many different sounds. Now in the nurse's office at school, Dick and his classmates are about to have their hearing tested. This is Miss Adams. She has had special training in testing the hearing of boys and girls. She visits different schools on different days. Today, she's testing the children at Dick's school. The instrument that Miss Adams uses is called an audiometer. It can produce different sounds. Each time Dick hears a sound, he raises his hand. There's a sound that we can hear, but Dick isn't raising his hand. Doesn't he hear it? Now, a little while later, Miss Adams and Dick are talking about the hearing test. Miss Adams notices that Dick has a slight cold. She believes that it's probably because of his cold that Dick was not able to hear certain sounds during his test. Miss Adams is writing Dick's mother a note. She is suggesting that Dick have his ears checked by a doctor to make sure that Dick's cold is not serious and that his hearing will be all right. The next day, Dick and his mother visit Dr. Allen. The instrument the doctor is using allows him to look into Dick's ears. The instrument is called an otoscope. Dr. Allen has found that Dick's cold has caused a slight ear infection. The doctor is giving Dick's mother a prescription for medicine that will help clear up the infection. Dick doesn't understand, though, how a cold can cause an ear infection. To explain, Dr. Allen is going to show Dick a drawing of the ear. Dick certainly recognizes this outer part of the ear, but Dr. Allen shows Dick that other parts of the ear are inside the head. The part of the ear that Dr. Allen is now pointing out is the ear canal. The ear canal is lined with many little hairs. It is also lined with wax. The hairs in the wax keep out dirt. The ear canal leads to the eardrum. On the other side of the eardrum are 3 bones. They are actually very small, but on this large drawing we can see them clearly. Their common names are the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. They are connected to one another. The last of the 3 bones, the stirrup, is connected to a part of the ear which looks something like a snail shell. From this part of the ear, a large nerve leads to the brain. The ear is also connected by this narrow tube to the throat. If you have a cold, it's possible for germs in your throat to travel up this tube to your ear. The germs may then infect the ear. That's probably what happened with Dick. But of course his ear is being treated right away, so he's going to be all right. Now that Dick knows a little about his ears, he'd like to know how we hear. Dr. Allen says he can explain that by using a pan of water. With a pencil, he's making little waves that move across the water. Sounds cause waves too. They move somewhat like the waves in the water, but sound waves travel through the air. Some of these waves reach our ears. The sound waves pass through the ear canal to the eardrum. The movement of the sound waves causes the eardrum to move back and forth very rapidly. Dr. Allen says the eardrum vibrates, somewhat like this ruler is vibrating. The motion of the eardrum then causes the three little bones to move. The last of the three bones carries the movements deeper inside the ear. The movements cause a signal to travel along the hearing nerve. When the signal reaches the brain, we recognize the sound. Now that Dick realizes how we hear and how wonderful and delicate our ears are, Dr. Allen reminds Dick how to take good care of them. Using a model, Dr. Allen starts by showing Dick how to wash the outer part of the ear. It's several days since Dick visited Dr. Allen. His cold is gone and his ears are all right. Dick has learned quite a few things about his ears and how to care for them. Whenever he takes a shower or bath, he carefully washes the outer parts of his ears. If too much wax collects in the ear canal, and that hardly ever happens, he knows that only a doctor should remove it. Dick is careful not to make loud sounds near someone's ears. This drum was broken because it was struck too hard. Dick knows that loud noises near the ear and hard blows to the ear should be avoided. A hard blow may break the eardrum. Dick has learned another thing from Dr. Allen, the proper way to blow his nose. You blow gently. That's the important thing. Blowing gently and blowing only when necessary can prevent the spreading of germs to the ears. The boys and girls in Dick's class have been very much interested in their ears since their hearing tests. With the help of their teacher, Dick and his friends have put together a small model of the ear. Dick's putting the finishing touches on it. The children know that if they take good care of their ears, they will continue to have good hearing. Good hearing also helps them enjoy sounds, such as listening to each other's voices over their homemade telephone.
Can you hear me, Jim? Yes, I can hear you very well.
Dick and the other boys and girls know that if they have even the slightest ear trouble, they should immediately tell their parents or the school nurse or their teacher about it. Yes, Dick and his classmates know that good ear care helps keep their ears healthy. And healthy ears mean good hearing.
Glorious. Yeah, the hearing test. I guess I took that when I did my physical. Little tone. And I remember doing it in school as well. Let's see. All right. So I know what you're thinking is like, I want a noir film featuring a lizard explaining science concepts. Well, you're in luck. Here's Volume. Not related to hearing volume, but volume. Enjoy.
It was one of those days when I was looking for something to investigate. I'm an investigator. The name's Investigator Alligator, and when I want something to investigate, I usually drop in at the workshop of my good friend. That's Mr. E. He always seems able to give me something interesting to think about, like he did on this particular day.
Oh, hi, Al. You're just the person I wanted to see.
What's up, Mr. E?
Look at this.
Your fish?
No, the fish bowl.
Something wrong with it?
Look down here.
There was water all around the bottom of the bowl. I could tell it wasn't leaking. It was still filled right to the top.
This happens every time I fill the fish bowl, Al. So, where's this puddle of water coming from? Now, that's the mystery that I hope you can help me solve.
I'll do what I can, Mr. E. I'll investigate and try to find out why there's a puddle of water around your fishbowl.
Well, I'd appreciate that very much, Al. And here's a clue to help you get started. The mystery involves volume. And I have a tool to help you solve the mystery, Al. This is called a graduate. We use it for measuring how much space matter takes up.
Matter?
Matter. Everything is made of matter. And when we measure how much space matter takes up, we're measuring its volume. When I put water into a graduate, I know the volume of the water in it because of the markings. When this graduate is full, there is exactly 1 liter of water in it. That's the volume of the water. A liter is called a unit of volume. Each of these smaller markings measures 10 milliliters. A milliliter is 1/1000th of a liter. Milli means 1 part of 1,000. That means it takes 1,000 milliliters to equal 1 liter. Now, this is the only tool you'll need to help you find out why there's a puddle around my fishbowl.
And so I had another mystery from my friend Mr. E to solve. It was about volume, and I called it The Case of the Mysterious Puddle of Water.
I have confidence in you, Al.
I know what I have to do, Mr. E. Find out why there's a puddle of water around your fishbowl by investigating volume. And that's what I did. My friends agreed to meet me at a friend's house in his kitchen. They all said they'd be glad to help me, so they listened carefully while I explained what a graduate was and what a liter and a milliliter were and what the mystery was all about. We decided it would be a good idea to measure the volume of different things, just to get the feel of what measuring volume was all about. So, we took out a lot of different liquids that we could pour into the graduate. And we took out a lot of different containers we could pour the liquid into after we finished our measurements with the graduate. A liter would be a lot to measure, so we just measured 250 milliliters of the things we had. 250 milliliters of milk was about a big glassful. We put 250 milliliters of orange juice into a jar. The jar had a different shape from the glass, but the volume of the juice was the same as the volume of the milk. We put 250 milliliters of a lot of different liquids into a lot of different shaped containers. Amazing! The containers were all different shapes, so the liquids inside each of them looked different even though they all had the same volume. We learned 2 things from this. Liquids take the shape of their containers. And you can't tell by the shape of the container how much space the liquid inside it is taking up. We decided to try something different. So we lined up all the different shaped containers and tried to pour liquid to the same level in each one. Then we tried to guess the volume of the liquid in one of the containers. We didn't do very well. then we tried another container and another guess. Again, our guesses weren't very accurate, but it was fun. So we thought we'd try a few more times, and that's when my friend's mother came in. She thought we shouldn't be wasting food like that. We said we didn't plan to waste it, but the truth was that I wasn't any closer to solving the case of the mysterious puddle of water. I thought I ought to look elsewhere for clues. But then I saw something that started me thinking. I came to a place where houses were being built. People were doing a lot of different jobs. But one person was particularly interesting to me. He was filling a wheelbarrow with sand. I knew that a wheelbarrow is a container and that sand is matter. Later on, Mr. E reminded me that sand isn't a liquid like water or milk or orange juice. It's a solid. But I could see that solids take up space just like liquids do. This particular worker happened to be a friend of mine, so I asked him if I could do a little experiment with his sand. He said it would be okay as long as I didn't use too much of the sand. So I put some water into the graduate. I put in 700 milliliters. That seemed like a good amount. And then I put some sand in. The volume of the water seemed to get bigger, just as I expected. But I knew what was really happening was that the graduate was measuring not only the volume of the water, but also the volume of the sand that was in it. The volume of the water hadn't changed. It still took up exactly the same space. The water level was just higher in the graduate because of the sand. I was onto something. Now there were some questions I wanted to ask Mr. E.
Did you want to ask me something about the sand that's in this water, Al?
No, Mr. E. I wanted to ask you about that thing that's in the fishbowl with your fish.
Oh, this? Well, this is just a little bottle that I decorated, see? And filled it with blue sand to keep it on the bottom of the bowl.
Would you put it back in again, please? And notice what happens to the water in the bowl. It goes up when you put the bottle in. Now, take it out again, please. And it goes down when you take the bottle out.
Yes, I can see that, but what does that have to do with the mystery you're trying to solve?
I'll get to that in a minute, Mr. E. But first, I have two questions to ask you. What is the volume of the water you put into the bowl?
I've never measured it, but I filled the bowl right to the very top. I like it that way. Now, what's your second question?
Do you put that bottle of sand in before you fill the bowl, or after you fill it?
Good question, Al. Very good question. Let me show you how I do it. I'll demonstrate with another bowl that I have. Now, first, I fill the bowl.
All the way to the top?
All the way.
So that means you put in the bottle after the water already fills all the space in the fishbowl.
That's right, Al.
And since the volume of the sand in the bottle and the volume of the bottle are added to the volume of the water in the bowl, which already fills the bowl, water is forced out of the bowl. It just runs over the top and leaves a puddle of water around the bottom.
You've done it, Al. While you've learned something about measuring volume, you've solved another case with your careful investigation. A little experimentation and a little messing around, and a lot of questions can be answered in science.
I suggest that from now on, you put the bottle of sand in first, Mr. E, and then put in the water.
Well, come again soon, Al. It's always nice to see you.
And it's always fun investigating and finding out things for myself. With a little help from you, Mr. E. And I marked the case of the mysterious puddle of water solved. Investigator Alligator had done it again.
I don't know, is he more annoying than Wonder Cat? I mean, obviously this was made for older audience, but are the trappings of a detective, reptile? Is he a crocodile? What is he? I can't remember. But 1994, that's crazy, because I wrote in the notes or in the comments that I was collecting films by that point, and schools were getting rid of their 16mm collections because they were showing video, or they were beginning to get in computer labs. So the fact that this was actually committed to film that late in the game is fascinating to me. All right. So behind me, I have my film scanner, and I have a film that literally just showed up today. What has happened is that there are two collections that are being shipped to me. One is from Northern Iowa University, where they're getting rid of all these films, and they wanted to know if I had them, if I wanted them, and I said yes. And then Basement Films, which is based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is a comparable film archive to us, and that it was mostly donations and stuff from schools and from other places, and they are losing their storage space, and they're desperately trying to find a new place. And they reached out to me and said, hey, we're trying to cull our collection, do you want these films? So ultimately they're sending us 700 films, of which 500 or so are religious films, which I'm very excited about. Now, it's not the excuse me, over the top like evangelical films like The Burning Hell or If the Footmen Tire You, nor is it the apocalyptic ones like Thief in the Night, Distant Thunder, etc. But these are still good nonetheless. This is mostly family films, and mostly cathedral films and Concordia, but there looks like there's some gems in here. And this one, like I said, literally just showed up today. So this is No Other Gods. Enjoy.
Oh, Uncle Bill, come in. Welcome.
Hello, Judy. How are you?
I'm okay. Might as well sit down. You'll have to wait for Mother anyhow. Have a candy.
For obvious reasons. Which are not obvious, but hold on. Let me see if I can show you what's going on. Oh, just took out the... Let's see. I don't know if you can see it, if I get any closer. But I don't know if you can see that the video or the film is actually not lying flat. So I need to fix that. So otherwise, there will be a horrific mess to clean up. Yeah. All right. Well, let's watch this instead. What's Lynn's problem, and why are we saying goodbye to her? I'll let you figure it out. Enjoy.
I don't know. It's weird, but in a lot of ways, life's the same as it used to be. My little brother still plays the piano, and my dad still reads the paper and watches the 6 o'clock news and smokes his pipe and has 2 drinks before dinner. And Mom still has her job, and she does the cooking and goes to the store. And the world outside my window still keeps going by. My baby hasn't changed any of that. But I guess I really feel different inside. I don't know. Everything seems... well, it seems to be a paradox now. One thing is 2 things at the same time. Good and bad. Well, like going to school in the morning. I really look forward to it because I get so much pressure at the breakfast table. It's just unbelievable. And this deal with my mother and father, I had this daydream, I guess. When I found out I was pregnant, I had this daydream, sort of, that they'd rally around me and support me or something and come together more. But they didn't. And I don't know. I feel kind of responsible about it. Well, I don't know if it's my fault, but they've never been this split up before. And I don't know. It was never like that before I got pregnant. So, it's really good to get out of there and go to school in the morning. But it's a paradox because school is pretty bad too. And well, a lot of bad things happen there. So, every morning I go, wow, it sure is good to get out of that house. And then it hits me. It really hits me in the head about what I'm walking into. Another thing is, well, having this baby inside, in a way, it's kind of natural. It makes you feel kind of close to nature. Like when I walk to school in the morning and I look at the trees, I just feel something coming out of me like love. And I kind of feel one with what I look at when I'm by myself. But then if one of my friends sees me, or when I walk into school, and then immediately everything around me seems to be artificial world. And I feel real. Or it's artificial, I'm artificial, and it's real, or... oh, I don't know. I can't seem to figure it out. funny. Last year, there was a pregnant girl in one of my classes. And I used to sit over there, very safe, looking forward to sex. And I'd look at this pregnant girl, and somebody would make some little remark, and I knew that really it was dumb to say something like that. But it seemed easy to laugh at. And I was really detached. I was free. It seems so long ago since Friday night was just Friday night. You know, I could go anywhere and do anything I wanted and forget that girl whenever I wanted to. Because all of a sudden, you're not free anymore. You're the girl on the other side of the room. And when you turn around to get a book or something, it's you who are being looked at by somebody else or a bunch of somebodies. And even with your friends, there's kind of a wall there. Because even your good friends, they don't know what to say. They do hand out all their little free advice, but they don't know what to say. One of my girlfriends tells me, "Oh, you're liberated, and it's beautiful what's happened to you," and all that, but she doesn't know. And my other girlfriend, she looks at me now like she looks at me now like I'm really cheap. Like she wouldn't want to get near me with a 10-foot pole. And the guys. Some of the guys look at me with pity. And some of them look at me like they want to get me in the back seat. Well, it'll be easier, I guess, when I transfer to the school where the other girls are. Isn't it a paradox? It'll be easier to get away from what's here, but when I get there, it'll be just a whole different kind of hassle. Because, well, I don't like the idea of being packed away with all the other bad girls. And just all of us herded along to our delivery day like a bunch of cattle. And, I guess what really, really scares me is making all these final decisions people keep pushing me into about the baby. Well, my mother wants to keep the baby. But I couldn't stand seeing this baby and pretending it was my little brother or sister when it was mine. And, my best girlfriend wants me to get an abortion. She says there's a place where I can still get an abortion. And somebody else wants me to give the child away. I don't know. Everybody presents their own little piece of advice and really gets offended if I don't respond immediately. You know, say, "Yeah, wow, that solves all my problems. Thank you." There just isn't any good solution. If you get an abortion, kill the baby. Or if you try to bring it up without a father. Or if you give it away to an adoption agency. I'm really getting tired of this game. Everybody's always saying, I'll help you. I'm understanding. And I'm not put off by your baby, Lynn. But you know, when it really gets down to it, everybody does try to impose their own ideas on me. And I don't know. It used to be, I thought I knew myself well enough that I could sort it all out and decide what I wanted to do, what was right for me. Now I'm so confused. I can't decide. I don't know what I should do. Part of me just wants to run and scream. Part of me just wants the whole thing to go away. The problem just to disappear. But I don't know. It's not just gonna go away. So, there's this other part of me that wants to get it under control. I've got to get it under control. If I fall apart, nothing's accomplished. But it's getting really hard to keep everything under control. I think it would have been a lot easier if Ted had been, serious about me. If he'd been like I thought he was, and he really wanted to have a permanent relationship. But when he pulled out, then that's when it got pretty tough. When he left, well, before he left, I was trying to have a good attitude, like, okay, it's happened and that's the way it is. And what can you do about it? What's good about it? But now that he's gone, all the rational thinking stuff's gone too. I keep hearing this voice inside me saying, what's wrong with you? For a while, it was just people around me, like my parents and their friends, all of them saying, what's wrong with you? You're bad and you're cheap. You're not a nice girl. But after Ted and I broke up, then it was that voice inside me with, what's wrong with you? Now, no matter where I turn, there aren't any answers that help. My mother says I'm wrong because I hurt them. And one of my girlfriends told me, she told me it was a sin. I haven't heard that word since I was a little kid. So, anyway, all I can do, I just try to take it day by day. But it just gets a little harder every day. Trying to cope with the looks and the people around me, and trying to understand how I feel about it inside me. And the worst part is not knowing anymore who I am. Because, see, if I don't know who I am, then my child, how can I tell him who he is if I don't know who I am?
Lynn, I'm sure that's true. Although it seems to me you're doing the best you can, for now anyway. I think a lot of the pressure is going to ease off now that you'll be with other girls in your same situation.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
It's nice. Just talking to somebody really helped.
I'm glad. Well, I guess that's about everything. Lynn, I really am glad we had a chance to talk.
Me too.
Lynn, let me know how you're getting along. And, please feel free to come back whenever you want to talk.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye, Lynn.
Goodbye.
Keep in touch.
Okay.
So that had to be made by the same people that made All My Tomorrows and The Day I Died and was it Julie's Choice? I can't remember. But it's these over-the-top narratives that are almost entirely done with voiceover of the main character. So you see the main character kind of doing whatever. And this one, of course, had some sync dialogue at the end, but it feels so much like it, even though they're not credited in it in the film. So anyways, I did get No Other Gods synced up, so we're gonna run late. I understand if you have to leave. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up, like, donate, super thanks, or Patreon or coffee.com. All right, here's No Other Gods. Enjoy.
Oh, Uncle Bill, come in. Welcome.
Hello, Judy. How are you?
I'm okay. Might as well sit down. You'll have to wait for Mother anyhow. Have a candy.
Thank you.
You know, I'm glad you dropped in. You're just the person I wanted to see.
Really?
Uncle Bill, you've known Mother for a long, long time, haven't you?
Oh, well, not quite that long. You see, your mother was 18 years old before I became her legal guardian. What's bothering you, Judy?
Look, being you're my favorite minister, Uncle Bill, tell me this. Am I too young for dates with boys? My mother says I am. But look at her. She had lots of boyfriends, didn't she?
Your mother was already in college when that was taken, Judy. Yes, she had lots of beaux. I dare say the pick of the campus.
Hey, Kurt. Hi, Dave. Oh, hello. What have we got here? Courtney's the name, Miss,
I know. Tricky Courtney, all-American triple-threat quarterback. Season's leading scorer.
You're terrific this afternoon, Tricky. And that last touchdown you made was sensational. Oh, you should have seen me last week. How come I never ran into you before?
Sorry, Tricky, but Miss Forbes has already promised me this day.
But, Kirk, you can't. Not with the seat of your pants all ripped out.
What?
Well, how do you like that? He certainly knows all the tricks. No wonder they nicknamed him Tricky.
Well, I'll soon fix that. Yeah. I'm cutting in on him.
And what do you think I'll be doing?
That was the start of a three-way romance that didn't seem to have any end. But as she continued to share her time between the friendly rivals...
Say, beautiful, isn't it about time you gave those other guys the air and concentrated on me?
Well, that all depends.
On what?
The future.
That? Why, it's all settled, honey. I'm going to make enough out of pro ball in a few years to be sitting pretty. And then we'll
You just live to play football, don't you?
Is that bad? Sure, I love it. Or any other sport. Nothing like it makes you feel fit for anything. Without a strong, healthy body, what can you get out of life? Now take golf, for instance.
Golf. What do you get out of it? After all, golf is only an ineffectual endeavor to put an insignificant pellet into an obscure hole.
Don't you approve of any sports?
Well, they're all right for some people. But in my book, there are a lot of things more important.
For instance?
Us. When are you going to make up your mind, Mildred?
About what?
You and me. Oh, I know I don't have the physical appeal of an all-American. But I've got something that's better than that.
You don't say. And what, may I inquire, is this, magnetic charm?
You can kid all you want to, sweetheart. But I've got money. Name me something that's mightier. Yes, sir. With money, I can buy anything.
Money? Well, it's a nice thing to have. Same as anything else. Though sometimes too much of anything can be as bad as not enough.
Does that apply to too many boyfriends, too?
Well, now that you mention it, it does. Not that I'm jealous, mind you. But I sure like to see you...
Oh, what are you doing?
Trying to do the best I can with what I've got. You see, deep down, I feel that we were all created with a sense of purpose. So I'm grateful for my nimble fingers and an inventive mind.
Oh, an invention. Oh, what is it?
It's a secret. But if it works out, then I'm going to be asking a certain girl to be my wife, providing nobody beats me to it. You, think the odds are against me?
Oh, you mean about the invention?
What's the matter?
Oh, Uncle Bill.
Too many notes on the keyboard or too many dates on the schedule?
Both. You know, it's becoming quite difficult. I don't know what to do. I'm so terribly fond of each of them.
All those months and you haven't made up your mind yet?
Mildred! Dr. Mills! Look, my invention. It works.
What is it?
It's a miniature recorder. Self-containing mechanism, without electrical connections, small and compact, fidelity reproduction. Listen.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now is the time for all men to come to the aid of their party. Do you hear me, Dr. Bell? Do you hear me? Mildred, darling, I love you, I love you.
I didn't mean to say that. It was...
Oh, you didn't, huh?
Well, I mean in the recorder.
Oh, it's wonderful. You're a success, David.
Well, not yet. The tough part is still to come.
What do you mean, Davy?
Oh, I'm confident there's a big market for it, but unfortunately it can't be patented. Once on the market, anybody could copy it. So the only way I can cash in on it is to manufacture it in a large volume and get the jump on the others. But that's going to take a lot of cash, which I don't have.
Well, there should be some way to finance your invention, and we'll have to find it.
Say, now that you mention it, I know just who can finance it. Come on, let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Now is the time for all men to come to the aid of their party. Do you hear me, Dr. Bell? Do you hear me? Mildred, darling, I love you, I love you. And if this invention is successful, I'll ask you to become my wife.
Well, what do you think?
Well, this is strictly a speculative proposition.
But I'm sure it'll sell.
Well, maybe. But without a patent, you can't ask anybody to sink money into this. Oh, I wish I could help you, Dave. It's not that I don't.
It's all right, Kirk. But we'll find somebody else. Come on, Mildred.
Say, that's a mighty clever gadget, Dave. You know what? I just got a $10,000 bonus for signing up with the Chicago Rams. How about letting me in on this?
No, I couldn't.
What's the matter? Isn't my money as good as Kirk's?
Well, that's not the point. Kirk has plenty of it. But I couldn't let you risk every cent you've got.
Listen, chum. Before the season's over, I'll be the biggest thing in pro ball. So what's 10,000 bucks?
But even so, Tricky, that would only pay for the dyes and the machinery. Or sales, promotion, and distribution alone would cost several $100s a week before we could even get...
Okay. So I'm also getting a fat weekly paycheck. More than enough to keep things rolling. Why don't we form a partnership?
Well, great.
Here you are, treasure. This ought to take care of the overhead for another week. Now about me taking care of you for life, Dreamboat. Mildred! Mildred!
Oh, in here, David.
Look, our first order.
Oh, 6 dozen recorders. $3,000. Wonderful.
Yeah, it would be if we could deliver now. It would be another month before we can fill this order.
Don't you worry, Davy. As long as they don't pass a law against pro ball, I'll keep the company going.
There's the board of directors meeting. Oh, Tricky. Spending the weekend in the old hometown?
I'd love to. But our team's got a rugged game to play, and I can't afford to pay the fine. Our corporation needs the money.
And 2 broken vertebrae besides. That's tough, Tricky.
But the doctor says you're going to be all right.
Yeah, sure. I'll be all right. Except I'll never be able to play football again or any other sport.
Why, Tricky, the way you said that, it sounded like a death sentence.
Isn't it?
Come on, Tricky. There are other things besides football, you know.
Not for me, there aren't. Where do I go from here? What does it leave me?
But there's more to life than you're seeing now.
Oh, don't give me any of that sop.
Look, isn't it about time you woke up and stopped worshiping other gods?
What do you mean by that crack?
Well, let's face it. You've been living only for the cheer of the crowds. Why, football's become your god.
Football was good enough to furnish the cash for David's deal, wasn't it? And without it, what becomes of the business? That's washed out. Same as I am.
Here, what's going on here? I think you'd better go.
Goodbye, Tricky.
So long, fella.
Oh, come. Things can't be as bad as they seem. You know, sometimes adversity is a blessing in disguise.
If we could only help Tricky, at least pay him back something while he's laid up.
We must save the business for his sake. There ought to be some way we can salvage this wreck.
There is. Keep your faith strong and use the insight God has given you. And never lose confidence in God's love and care.
You're wonderful. No matter how far off the course we wander, you bring us back. I'll see who it is.
Hello, Kirk. Won't you sit down? No, thanks. I just came from the hospital. Tricky and I had quite a discussion about that recording venture of yours. And if you'll let me, I'd like to make amends by offering to reorganize the partnership. Tricky's all for it. Once the project starts paying off, it'll give him a small but much needed income.
We were just talking about that.
Your offer certainly would solve everything.
I know I've been a chump, Mildred. I guess I was jealous. But can you blame me?
Forget it, Kirk. We all make mistakes.
Wowee, we're out of the red. Isn't it wonderful?
Yes. Money is a wonderful thing.
Hiya, mates. Here we are. Open up that safe and let's plunder the dividends.
I have the checks already made out. Mildred, Tricky, Dave.
Hey, what's this? $100?
That's right. You each get $100 a month.
But what about our share of the profits?
You don't get any.
Are you kidding?
No. This is exactly according to the contracts you signed.
You don't really expect to get away with this, do you?
Now, wait a minute. I'm not trying to get away with anything. After all, where would you be now if I hadn't come to the rescue? Oh, sure, I'm getting mine, but why shouldn't I?
Why, you dirty low-down
Tricky,
swindler.
don't.
I'd like to wring his neck.
That wouldn't alter matters. And if you think you're being swindled, ask your lawyer to read those contracts.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, the stench is stifling me.
Uncle Bill, how can you sit there so calm after what's happened?
Hadn't you better settle down a bit, young lady?
Tricky's lawyer says there is no loophole. Kirk can get away with it.
Get away with what? What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul?
I don't care about him. It's David I'm thinking of.
Yes, I know. But David has received some compensation.
What, for instance?
You. At least he's no longer in a quandary as to whom you're going to marry.
I still wish there was some way for David and Tricky to recover what's rightfully theirs.
Isn't there?
I know.
Well, I have some ideas about that.
You mean there is a way?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Come in. Oh.
Afternoon, Kirk.
Hello, Doctor. What brings you here?
I've come to help you.
Help me?
Yes, I've just received this from Washington today. I thought you'd be interested in it.
Patent office? But Dave told me he couldn't get a patent.
He merely took that for granted, but I applied for one in David's name, without his knowledge, of course.
What made you do that?
Oh, I suppose you'd call it a hunch, but I prefer to call it something else.
Why did you bring this to me?
I was sure you'd appreciate the opportunity to buy it.
What do you want for it?
Your self-respect. My boy, no man can serve two masters. Either he will love one and hate the other, or he will hold to one and despise the other.
All right, so I'm a heel and you all despise me. Well, now you've got this. Go ahead and vote. That's what you came here for, isn't it?
No, Kirk. I came here because of the truth of one of Jesus' parables. If a man have 100 sheep and one be gone astray, doth he not leave the 99 and goeth into the mountains and seeketh that which is gone astray? Honestly, Kirk, wouldn't you really prefer to be back in the fold?
Yes, of course. What can I do about it now?
Give up mammon. Like just restitution.
Yes, but with this patent pending, that would be only a meaningless gesture.
Oh, no. No, my boy. Deep down inside, your heart is clean.
You think Mildred and the boys will ever forgive me?
Well, that's not for me to say, but I think I know their spirit.
Thanks, Doctor. I'll try to earn their forgiveness. Well, there it is. I'm sorry. I only wish this had never happened.
Hey, wait a minute. We still need your signature on these contracts.
Oh, those new contracts?
Mm-hmm. You know, this pending patent doesn't exclude you from a partnership.
You mean after what I've done to you, you still want me around?
Don't be ridiculous. Why not? After all, we still need your financial wisdom.
Well, who's going to be the first to sign this historic document?
Terms of this contract calls for an even partnership all around. An equal share in all profits.
I don't need a contract. If you say share and share alike, that's good enough for me.
Me too. Now, wait a minute, fellas. The share and share alike doesn't apply to everything. You see, I've reserved a monopoly on my future wife.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, love and kisses.
So, there you are, Judy. You know, some people, like Kirk and Tricky, foolishly waste part of their lives worshiping false gods. Some worship money, power, lust, fame, anything except the Lord. Your father wasn't like that, Judy. That's why he won out. He had no other gods.
Gee, poor Mother. She sure went through a lot just to get her man. I never knew that picking out a husband was such a problem. Tell me, Uncle Bill, when I'm ready to marry, how will I be sure I picked the right man?
Well, I'll tell you how you can't make a mistake. You marry me.
Oh, Judy.
Yes, Mother.
Who's with you?
Uncle Bill's here.
Oh, I'll be right down. Oh, Judy, give Uncle Bill some of his favorite candy.
Yes, Mother.
Oh, that ending was really creepy. I mean, not to mention, like, they're sitting around looking at a scrapbook. She's got a Coke, and then she's got, like, a whole bunch of chocolates, it looks like. I mean, maybe that was the box that the scrapbook was in, but it looked like there was just a bunch. They were just sitting there and popping chocolates. Ugh. Gross. Anyways, thanks for tuning in today and dealing with the technical issues. That seems to be what we do here. But if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, use the super thanks button to donate so we can buy things like screwdrivers. We need screwdrivers to open VHS tapes that were underwater. Anyways, everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care. Appreciate your eyeballs and your attention. Take care. Bye.